Welcome to the first official The Willow Free Project video. And my name is Ruben. I'll be giving you the introduction to what the Willow Free Project is. And if you saw the first video where I mentioned that this project was inspired by the Venus Project by Jack Fresco, then if you're familiar with the Venus Project, you have a pretty good idea of what the Willow Free Project is going to be about. When I say it's inspired by Jack Fresco and the Venus Project, it means that in the year 2014, well, it happened a little bit before then, but mainly in 2014, when I was introduced to the Venus Project, I got intrigued and I sucked into the idea of the Venus Project and what it's about. And I wanted to meet Jeff Fresco. I wanted to help him out with his project. I wanted to be a volunteer. I really fell in love with the idea of a with a resource-based economy, and I wanted to help this guy. I learned a lot from the videos that he posted on the internet. I learned from the interviews that he had. I learned from the video presentations that he would show us. And mainly, I fell in love with the structure and the engineering part of the Venus Project and how the city worked. Because for me, that made sense. And around 2014, I graduated from high school in 2010. And right after high school, I started working in construction. I began by working as a carpenter, building cabinets around the year 2000, if I'm not mistaken, around 2012. That's when I officially was involved in carpentry more than before. Excuse me. And well, that's where it began. I was single back then. And the idea of the Venus Project, man, if you're familiar with the Venus Project, or better say, if you're not familiar with the Venus Project and you don't know what's it about, I highly recommend that you go and look at the videos from the Venus Project, mainly from the Venus Project and not from, I believe, the Sitges movement, because that's a little bit misleading, and I don't want to get into that in this video, and I don't think I'm gonna be touching bases on that. But if you just want to know about the Venus Project, I suggest go to the official Venus Project YouTube webpage and just start watching their videos, especially the engineering and the structure of how Jack Fresco dedicated his life designing these cities and making sure that it works. In other words, the engineering part, how the water works, how the city is pretty much like a whole system on its own. Like, in other words, the city's life, like not life itself, but it's alive. Like, it's connected, it's communicating. Is not letting things go to waste like we do nowadays, where we spend millions, thousands of dollars trying to dig out these minerals from underground to turn them into things that we use on our daily basis. And at the end of the day, we just throw them in the trash and bury them again. And that's one of the many things that the Venus Project gave a solution to. Sadly, I never got to actually go to Venus, Florida, and watch the prototype the Jack Fresco was working on. I didn't got to be involved on the project like I wanted to. The Venus Project was one of the main reasons why I started teaching myself architecture. And thanks to that, now I have my own company. We build houses. I started from being not an architect, but being just another carpenter. I'm sorry. and working my way up to remodeling houses, to actually knowing how to use arch- architect software, where I would design houses, build them, and make a living out of that. But as we all know, Jack Fresco passed away. No, Fresco, rest in peace. You were, I believe, not just for me, but for many people, you were like an inspiration, and I'm pretty sure that we're not gonna let your work go to waste. Unfortunately, I never got familiar with the Venus Project in person. I would like to visit Venus, Florida, and get familiar with it and see if I can still help out in in a way. But right now, I started my own thing. I started the Willow Free Project, which the Willow Free Project, it's inspired by the Venus Project, hoping that one day, um, I can put my we call it in Spanish, and there will be some videos in Spanish as well. That's my first language. We call it nuestro um, ¿cómo se dice? De arena, nuestro granito de arena. So this is me just trying to give back a little bit of what was put in me by the Venus Project. It's kind of like a seed that the very first moment that I saw the Venus Project, there was like this seed that was put in me, and right now it's growing. Making things happen. So welcome to the Willow Free Project. The Willow Free Project, and just because I don't want to make this video super extra long, now thanks to the inspiration that I got from the Venus Project, I learned how to do some architecture work enough to actually design and build houses. I know how to build houses myself. I know how to do the framing work. I know how to work myself around electrical, plumbing, HVAC, the engineering part. Since I was self-taught architect, and I don't really call myself an architect, I always call myself a drafter, because the engineers that I would work for, that's what they used to call me. I have a drafter, and he'll take care of this and take care of that. And I was their drafter for some years. Thanks to that, now I have my own company, Fancy Works. It's actually a corporation right now that is sponsoring 100% the Willow Free Project. And right now, thankfully, we like things are working really, really good in a way where we're getting sponsors, we're getting investors putting in money to the houses. The Willow Free Project is gonna be pretty much building with the help of Fancy Works. That's my corporation right now. We're building houses, hoping to achieve houses that will last longer, and in a way will be self-sustaining. It's not going to be 100% self-sustaining, but we're going to be working our way to where they are closest to 100% self-sustaining by putting solar panels, making the houses smart in a way where if nobody's inside the house, there's no reason why the power should be on. If nobody's inside the house, the only thing power wise is the solar panels, making power, saving power on the batteries. So when people come in back to the house, the lights will turn on depending on where the people are located in each room. Before they get to the house, we have technology now, really simple technology that anyone can go and purchase, where 30 minutes before getting to the house, your HVAC will start working. So when you walk into your house, you have the house in a temperature that you like. Pretty much making a house less of a consumer and more of a producer by having solar panels on the houses, helping produce electricity, whatever electricity you don't use. If we make enough, not just by solar panels, there's a lot of other things that we're experimenting with, that will make us produce electricity to the point where the house is only using enough what it needs, and the extra electricity we can sell it back or share within the community that we're building houses with. That way we can stay self-sustaining with just the solar panels. We're trying to get to the point where each house comes with a car. with a vehicle or has access to at least three different vehicles: pickup truck, a normal car, SUV, or minivan. And all this, apart from collecting rainwater, trying to build greenhouses on the backyards or front yards, depending on how the house is placed on each colony and each place. Because some of these houses are gonna be flips that we just bought, and we remodel, we fix them, and we put them up for rent. And some other houses are gonna be new builds that we're gonna be building from scratch, and that's gonna be putting us in an advantage where we can actually place the house in a way that it can be more beneficial to our plants. We are trying to make the houses produce money as well. That way we can keep the rent for each house low, and that way people will be able to rent these houses. It will be through a subscription. They're gonna have a subscription fee, and that way I like to introduce this idea is, right now we're gonna have our first new house for rent that we just started introducing into or placing into this project, the Willow Free project, where our future renters, they're gonna get a choice, technically, right? A choice where we're gonna ask them, okay, so you can rent this house for $1,600, or you can subscribe to our system, the Willow Free project, pay $150 subscription fee just for the house. But every year, the rent on this house is gonna be going low, and it's kind of hard right now to predict how low we can lower the rent each year. If it's gonna be $10, $20, or how much. But our goal ultimately will be where the people living in these houses will be paying just enough to pay the taxes on the house, and the subscription fee is gonna be to maintain or to give maintenance for these houses. And people that are involved in flipping houses or having rental houses, they know that houses break down a lot, but they break down a lot when the work you put into them is really, really poor. Like, you are pretty much cheap on what material you use and how you remodel these houses. That's why houses break a lot. But if you do a good job, you follow the codes, and I don't mean like the city codes. I mean like how you're supposed to be building a house and what materials you're supposed to be using, especially if you're gonna be having a rental and you don't want to be putting maintenance on it like 5-10 years, or the minimum amount of maintenance that you have to do on these houses. Maybe like no more than $200-300 per year. There's ways you can do that, and we're gonna be introducing those ways here in the Willow Free project. We're gonna try to be as clear as possible by sharing our floor plans, sharing the way we remodel houses, because we want this to have a domino effect where, and this is already happening. This is the thing that is making me happy, that I see communities after COVID. There's people that were left homeless, or people that went, I don't know, like they're not in the same living situation that they were before COVID, and now they're thinking about like, okay, this happened, and look at where we are right now. How can we prevent this from happening again? So there's communities right now thinking about ways to kind of do the same thing that we're trying to do with the Willow Free project. So we want to make this available. We want to make all information as clear as possible and accessible for people to come and see, and will learn from us, and at the same time we learn from them. Right now, our strongest part in the Willow Free project is that I have a construction corporation, and we are pretty good at remodeling houses and building houses, and that's our strong point right now. We're working our way towards getting lawyers involved, trying to save as much money as possible on taxes by maybe making this into a nonprofit organization so we can avoid taxes, and using the money that we will be paying in taxes to actually produce more and build more houses, and just invest back in our project. So there's ways. We're looking for people. I would like to say that we have a team that is gonna take care of everything, but we don't right now. I'm talking about a construction company that is trying to make a change, trying to just basically what I learned from the Venus Project not go to waste. Um, and honestly, ever since I saw the Venus Project from the very first moment, like, and this is, I think, the same effect that a lot of people have is that why can we live like that already? Like, why? Like, can we just make it happen? And this is the thing that I would always was hoping, I guess, for Jack Fresco to say was, like, um, I guess, I don't know, kind of like knowing him just out of the videos. I know, like, I never saw a video of him asking for money, but man, he was like, all I need is $10 from you every week. And he had a lot of followers. The last time I saw him a couple of years ago, the most he had was like 100,000. Just imagine $10 a week times 100,000 people, like loyal believers of the Venus Project. That's hundreds, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we could have had started something, and before he passed away, at least he would have seen like something already, like in the beginning. And I believe that the Venus Project, if he had already like started like construction wise, it's kind of like it will be like a system that once it starts, it's gonna have like the snowball effect where it's just gonna keep growing, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So right now, the Wheel of Fear project, mainly right now, is getting sponsored by Fancy Works. That's my corporation. Second of all, we're having investors that are making money by putting in money for these new builds and these remodel houses, and we're gonna get to how we are handling in that. And not only that, but one of our slogans within this company is we're trying to stay away as possible, as far as possible, from inflicting more inflation into the system. We're trying to do things with the minimum inflation as possible, because as all of you guys know, if you're familiar with real estate brings a lot of inflation into the system, especially if you're remodeling houses with borrow money from the banks, and you're selling houses and the buyers are people that are borrowing money from the banks. There's a lot of inflation coming in, and we're trying to stay away from that. We're trying to make this as inflation free as possible, and that's one of our goals. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you stay, I know it's like an 18-minute video, and I apologize for that. I'm gonna try to keep things as short as possible, but this being the first video, I feel like I have a lot to say, and I really enjoy you guys watching this video. Hope I get to reach a couple of you guys, and join the community, subscribe, share your ideas, share your opinions. I'm open to any constructive criticism, anything that comes from you guys in order to help this Wheel of Fear project move on is welcome here. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and most likely you're gonna be seeing me record every night. And once we hit, I believe it's 1,000 subscribers, I'll try to make these live videos instead of just recordings and uploading them the next day or the next morning, I'm sorry, or the very same night. But it's a 20-minute video, so this might be a while. It might stay on the computer loading the whole night. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Hope you guys stick around and help this become a reality pretty soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. I don't know why I say thank you, sir. It's like, I apologize for that.